Yes, they're in Southern California. Have the Trump administration and Republican lawmakers seeking an investigation into where protest organizers are getting their funding. And not just the ongoing anti-ICE protests, but also the pro-Palestine demonstrations that took place on college campuses over the past few years. Correspondent Rich McHugh is live to try and connect the dots here. So, Rich, what have you learned?
Hi, Nicole. Well, first of all, this is really complicated. The big question for everybody as these protests have unfolded in Los Angeles and across the country was who's funding them and who's behind all this. Now we know that the head of the FBI and the IRS have somebody in their crosshairs. So we took a look at this person. This is an American businessman, a former billionaire living in Shanghai at the moment. And according to the House Oversight Committee, they tell News Nation, he will be called to testify about his ties to the CCP, his funding of nonprofits, anti-Israel groups, protests on college campuses, and at least one of the groups connected to these Los Angeles protests. His name is Neville Roy Singham. He's an American who sold his company in 2017 for close to $1 billion. So let me try and connect the dots further. Reports show that he funded groups like the People's Forum, that's based in New York City, to the tune of millions. The People's Forum has deep personnel overlap with the Party of Socialism and Liberation, known as the PSL. It's a communist political party that has organized large-scale anti-ICE protests in Los Angeles. Now, Alex Goldenberg with the Network Contagion Research Institute has been unpacking Singham's influence and funding for 2 years. Here he is.
He has a footprint in India, South Africa, London, and is quite active in the United States, funding a network of nonprofit organizations to the tune of tens of millions of dollars. And he's not just funding activism. What we find is he's funding and exporting an authoritarian-aligned ideology under the banner of like American nonprofit legitimacy.
These groups have engaged in violent anti-Semitic riots in many cities across the United States. So to summarize this, you have China, you have violent anti-Israel protests and anti-ICE protests. The nexus of this is this network funded by this person, Singham. That's what they're alleging.
All right. So, Rich, the big question here, why? What is the goal?
Well, if you talk to people like Alex, who we're about to hear from, he says, look, they're trying to co-opt. People have legitimate concerns about these deportations and these ICE raids. But this organization, this network is trying to co-opt them to further their agenda. Take a listen.
Doesn't just promote anti-American sentiment, but openly supports authoritarian regimes, repeatedly amplifies voices that glorify terrorism and cause for violent revolution, such as the globalization of the Intifada. So what is being built here is not a protest movement. I really view it as infrastructure for a deeply un-American campaign to destabilize the country from within.